Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NV's webinar series under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative. So, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative is a initiative from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to have an interaction among the states on the various issues of environment as well as exchange of the culture as well as learning, tradition, music, tourism, cuisine, sports, as well as sharing best practices among the various states and as well as union territories. Under this initiative, our NV Center at Indian Institute of Science is carrying out series of webinars in order to have a exchange of the information among the various states as well among the students. So under this, we are conducting today a webinar on bioindicators for monitoring ecosystem health. So this webinar we are also conducting on the occasion of the World Biodiversity Day, which we celebrated on 22nd May, Sunday. So in this regard, we have with us Dr. VP Uniyal, who is a senior professor scientist from the Wildlife Institute of India. So he's also head of the landscape level planning and management department from the Wildlife Institute of India. He's a member of Royal Entomology Society from the London. His research interests include ecology, systematics of insect, bioindicators, biodiversity surveys, ecological monitoring in protected areas. He has guided 25 PhD students and 30 master students for the dissertation. He has been awarded as a UGC fellowship to work on the taxonomic studies of the Elateridae from the different areas of Rajasthan as well as Gujarat states. He has obtained his PhD from Kurukshetra University, Haryana. He has participated in Nanda Devi ecological expedition in 2001. He has published 5 books and also various field guides. He has published 100 research papers in peer-reviewed international and national journals, and also he has published many reports. His current research project includes taxonomic and ecological studies in Trans-Himalayas and also assessment and conservation practices in Trans-Himalayas. And he has successfully completed many research projects which is funded by national and international agencies. So with this brief introduction, it's my privilege to invite Dr. VP Uniyal, who is a stalwart in this domain. And recently I happened to hear him, and his experiences on the entomology is diverse. So I request you to take over, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the introductions and welcome and to all. I'm just going to talk about those bioindicators for monitoring ecosystem health. Simplest question: how's your health of an ecosystem? A few days ago, we celebrated International Biodiversity Day. We are celebrating Bee Day. We are celebrating days of environment, wildlife, and kind of things on the related to the environment. But how will monitor the health of that ecosystem? We can monitor our health by having certain parameters. And our physician will tell you about this health system of human being. We are fine or not, otherwise they will write some of the medicines and prescription for your better health. Better biologist, ecologist, a student of environment science, dealing in the forest, going in protected areas, working on climate change. How you will monitor the health of the ecosystem? And the ecosystem health is linked with the health of human beings. So I'm just going to talk here. What are the parameters to monitor the ecosystem health? So studies on protected areas, national parks, and sanctuaries on tigers, rhino, elephant, and other species. But we're having small creatures and beautiful creatures. They're equally important than a tiger. We're having beautiful tiger beetle, tiger butterfly, tiger moth, and those are equally important than tigers, and they are the best made indicators for monitoring biodiversity. This pictures earth forms. Just recall your visit somewhere in very close to your village, forest area, ecosystem area, and this whole gamut you can see it: plants, spiders, water bodies, earth, fishes, echinodermates, earthworms, dragonflies, sponges, amphibians, mammals, fungi. All things, all groups making the life forms, and every component is important for our biodiversity. They are part of biodiversity. But if you are a botanist and visiting the forest area, maybe you are focusing on studying the plants. Any person is working on fungi, his interest is fungi. The person is working on entomology, his interest is to just locate and identify the insect diversity of that area, like this particular insect is a dragonfly ordinator. If you are visiting the forest area and you are able to this insect, certainly you will get water bodies. It's an indicator of water body. Is laying the eggs in the waters, nymph flies and adults, nymphs develops and adult flies is the indicators. Presence and species level of dragonflies correlate to this quality of the waters. Spiders, nobody is going to touch the spider. Limited people or countries working on a spider, but we are having 50,000 spiders on the country and all over the world and 20,000 in India. But they are best indicators of climate change. But our knowledge about spiders is very limited. Earthworms, who is going to enhance the fertility of the soil in the forest or your agriculture fields and your kitchen garden? Only annelids. But our information about annelid is limited. They are the indicators to health ecosystem of monitoring health ecosystem of biodiversity parts. So we just say ultimately that's very. Your focus is different. Maybe you're wildlife, you're a plant scientist, working on fungi, but all life forms, they all exist, coexist, and maintaining the ecosystem health. We can't forget the study of ants and contribution of ants. Certainly, tiger, leopards, rhino, they are important, but dragonflies, snakes, spiders, centipedes, millipedes, they are equally important for our ecosystem. And they are the best indicators to monitor the health of an ecosystem. I'm going to talk on these issues. You know about it from your childhood. The food tropical levels of insects is important. You know about it. But this tropical levels or food chain, insect is playing very important role. Majority of the birds, they're insectivorous. They're depending on insect. Larvae, caterpillars, they're picking it. Amphibians, they're depending on insect. Large spiders, they're depending on insect. Insect is the connecting link in food chains, and majority of the insect, they are the pollinators. So they're very important here. And ultimately, every component is important here. Within that species diversity, the largest number of insects can go plants, animals, fungi, protozoal, algae, bacteria, viruses. So largest representation of a system is insect. And a subject is entomology. The person dealing with the subject is called entomologist, and his main job is to do the research, ecology, behavior, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and genetics and systematics of the insect. Even then, large number of experiment of genetics on Drosophila, a small fly. Yeah, I'm audible. Bharat, I'm audible. Anyway. So the global variations in beetles of the diversity, majority of the beetles are colorful. I can see here how the beetles is very colorful and they have been trait because of that outer part is part called elytra. And elytra is so metallic shinings that people are collecting and making artificial jewelry. So beetle has been trait. Insects are the dominant and ancient group of animal on Earth. Total species of insect from world exceed 1.5 million, representing nearly 90% of the animal kingdom. They are this major component of world biodiversity, and for these reasons, they are working as a pollinators and economically important. But insect has been reported Mount Everest regions, Himalayan states, Himalayan regions, Antarctics, deserts, petroleum, and they are everywhere. Just your kitchen garden is varieties of insect. Your classroom, your university campus, village surrounds, insects are everywhere. You know about it, how the insects. But within this global diversity of insect, 1.7 to 1.8 million of described species. Class insect are largest and most widely distributed taxon arthropods. 53 are named species of insect, and there are 30 different orders and group of insect. Some of things I already discussed here, and the total global diversity and status of insect is started in India by Left Roy in 1909. Wrote a very classical book, Indian Insect Lives, documented 25,000 order species. Subsequently, large number of scientists studied the insect and documented. And within insects, one of the important group is termites. And Professor Roonwal started working on termites. He's the father of Indian termites. Insect schedule also in Protection Act 128 species of butterflies in Schedule 1. We are having 1,500 species of butterflies in our country, and out of that 128 species are Schedule 1, means the habitat and the number is very limited. If you go any disturbance with the habitat of those species can extinct anytime. Insect has been traits for this purpose, for decoration, varieties of insect, thousands butterflies, 1,500 species of butterfly. Every butterfly has different color combinations, and they are very fantastic colors, and they are indicators of biodiversity monitoring. Beetles has been treated. You can see this all colorful beetles here. So we are having two horned rhino beetles, the stag beetles, Termites, longhorn beetles, tiger beetles, scarabee beetles. So the color combinations for this purpose, the bird signings of elytra beetles has been treated. But they are the essential within ecosystem. They are nutrient cyclers, leaf litters and root degradation, dispersal fungi and guidance of the dungs and the soil turnover, plant propagations, pollination and seed dispersal, maintenance of the plant community's composition, food of many insectivorous vertebrates, maintenance of animals community structures through transmission of disease of large animals. Direct chains of carbon storage element cycle, mutualism, pollination and seed dispersal. They have an important role in insect are playing effect of standing crop and productivities, effect of plant species composition, and recruitment, limitation of species loss. They are the best ecosystem engineers. Direct chains of carbon storage element cycle, predators and parasites, effect of soil food webs, microbial feeders, dispersal agent of other organisms, and termites. Termite is a good indicator for healthy forest. Certainly, if termite will attack your house, can damage your articles. But when a termite is in the nature, they are good indicators of healthy ecosystem. You can see this termite mound, roughly 6 feet, and 6 feet top, 6 feet inside of the soil, roughly 12 feet. And just go and cut from the top, you can see the whole 12 feet is a air-conditioned chamber. Their percolation of the water is very perfect where the large number of termites mounds are in the forest. The soil structure is very healthy, and a tree very close to the termite mound is healthy. They're not going to damage the forest. It's a part of the forest, part of the ecosystem, and they are best indicators and landscape architects. You can see how they are maintaining, how they are building this nest, and the percolation of water, soil structures is very fine in the termite mound is existing in the forest area. We are having roughly 2,600 species and 281 genera of worldwide, and the country is having 253 order species of termite mound. So a limited number of scientists currently working on termites. Nobody is going to touch the termites, but the termite is in the forest. Large number of termite mound means your forest is very healthy. It's a kind of indicators of the forest. You can see here. Yeah, you might have seen it. This type of movement in the ants. The ants is moving, making healthy ecosystem. They're decomposing the leaf litters. Who is decomposing recyclings, nutrient cyclers in your kitchen garden? Who is decomposing your kitchen garden waste? Only ants. But our information about ants is very limited. They're nutrient recycler. So in leaf litter in the forest, ants are playing very important role here. And yeah, the study of social insect, hymenoptera, and bees and ants have allowed understanding of this evolution of maintenance of social behaviors, several theoretical ideas of ecology, holistic approach of ecology, ecosystem and niches, and even Charles Darwin of his theory of evolution, natural selection, deduced his thesis based on tropical entomological observations. The sheer number of insects means that their impact upon the environment and hence our life is highly significant. They are the major component of microscopic biodiversity, and for these reasons, we should understand them better. But how many insects are there? How many insects in your university campus, your institute, your village surround, your protected areas? What is the total number of insect species in the world? And honest answer is nobody knows exactly. Because large number of about 30 different orders. And the numbers of kinds of species are so great that entomologists can't keep an accurate count except of small groups. We are having documentation of butterflies of different protected areas and different regions of the country. We are having some other species of documentations, but we are not having the complete checklist of grasshoppers of the country. As a group of insects, that 30 different orders, and those immediately every order is important for ecosystem and they are the best indicators, but our information is very, very limited. The global status of insect estimated figures vary from because of the documentation is very limited and large percentages have to be discovered. Biology students know about it. They know how the classifications goes. This phylum Arthropoda divided into 4 classes, and 4 classes divided into 3 subclasses. One class is Insecta, and class Insecta is divided into 3 subclasses with the insect with the wingless, wings partially develops, wing develops literal is metamorphosis complete, and 3 subclasses again divided into 29 to 30 different orders. Orders means group of insect. Group of insect, yeah. So the group of insect is here, and it is like Coleoptera is beetle, Dipterans, Lepidopterus, butterflies and moths, Hymenoptera bees, Isoptera termites, Thysanoptera. Even a particular very interesting group is Thysanoptera thrips. And Thysanoptera small thrips is in South insect, as you can see. You just go in the forest areas, take the flowers, and you will see the thrips is over there. But the information about thrips is very, very limited. You can see diversity of beetles found in a single tree. Any tree, whether it's a teak tree, Soya robusta, any tree's life is roughly 200 to 300 years. Within 200 to 300 years, varieties of insects feeding on this tree. You just go and remove the bark of the tree, you will see small beetles called Scolipteri family making the tunnels on the bark of the tree. Then varieties of insects will come and feed and spend their life cycle. Some will come with flowers there, so will feed on flowers, pollinate, leaves a leaf part. Majority of the beetles are phytophagous. They eat the green part of the plant. But survival of the large group of insects within a span of 200 years and more than that, when the tree and the log is here. Again, it's required more than 200 years to decompose properly with the help of varieties of insect. The first group of insect will damage and clean this bark part. Subsequently, large number of insects will come here, and then beetles, then birds and amphibians, they will survive on this larvae and caterpillars of variety of insect. So that is the important diversity of beetles found in a single tree, and this is the indicator that if the log is inside of the forest, your forest is rich. Don't remove the this is as per the guidelines in the case of protected area in the forest. Do not remove any things from the forest. If you are going to remove this log from the forest, where the birds will go for habitat. Large number of insects inside of this tree. They're damaging it, but survival of the birds is ecosystem health is indicators. If you're having this type of forest, logging rotten trees in the forest area means the health of the forest is good because of the survival of varieties of animals. Subsequently, we are having this varieties of insects here, and that's a lot of kinds of frogs. This playing very important role is decaying process. I was just observing this tree in high altitude areas. Okay, then wildlife sanctuary is oak for tree. So this I am observing since last more than 20 years. But the process of decaying process is very slow. We are maintaining, monitoring the weather recording system over the years, the temperatures, snowfall, wind velocity, and observing this group of insect over there. So this is the process is very, very slow. It requires a lot of time. On the basis of this type of observation, you can say climate change, monitoring of health as indicators, who are the responsible for this system was. So we have just done certain monitoring programs in this Western Himalaya and Great Western Park. You can see how the changes is going on. We require long data set to assess the changes in the biodiversity. So this you can see the picture from some location 95, 2019, 2020. So on the basis of sometimes the observations, you can monitor the changes in ecosystem and the other kind of indicators. Every day I've seen it. You know about it, how this dung beetles are playing important role for our ecosystem. Fresh cattle, fresh elephant dung in the forest. Within half an hour, varieties of dung beetles come and they make ball and dump inside of the soil to enhance the fertility of the soil. If you are visiting the forest area and there's large number of dung beetles on this dung piles of elephant and livestock and the wild animals, it means the health of the forest is good. It's kind of indicators. If there's no dung beetle, so we'll enhance the fertility of the soil and something is wrong. So this type of beautiful creatures are as a can say as a bioindicators. This is a biological diversity and special features in sector classified into 20 to 30 different orders. This also is the number of species. The largest one is Coleoptera, then Hemipteras and Thysanoptera, different groups here. But whether the distribution of the insect, whether you're going to do the study of insects like this Indian Peninsula regions, Malaysia, China, Pelagic regions. Second, this area is the South India, Nilgiri, and Western Ghats, and in Himalayas, Western Himalayas, generally in mountains of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand, we are doing the study and observing the insect diversity as indicator since last more than 2-3 decades. But why you do the study of insect? What is the scope of insect study? They are the monitoring of biodiversity through use of insect as bioindicators, umbrella group of biodiversity conservations, developing area-specific management guidelines, and information about insect fauna is very little export. Indian City and Wildlife Protection Act is not very clear about the insect. Research on invertebrates is little export. Some group like butterflies has been documented in few areas and different ecosystem area, but other group of insect is neglected. No status survey has been conducted. Very little information is available. But ultimately, those indicators are helping our environment. Water quality, I already discussed about the dragonflies. Planktons, zooplankton, benthic fauna, they are giving us qualities. Soil structures, soil nematodes, earthworms, their presence and absence will give you the indication of your soil qualities. Same in the case of air and land sky ecosystem. Ultimately, those indicators are for the society, human beings, our managers, government, industries, and they're linked with this system, and it's called as the bioindicators. What is the indicators? The bioindicators then anthropogenically induce response of molecules and biochemicals and physiological parameters. Bioindicators may reflect biological, chemical, and physical attributes of the ecological conditions, and it is used for identifying the major ecosystem stress and habitat degradation, loss, and fragmentation. How can you judge it? How can you say the particular ecosystem is not good? On the basis of presence and absence of those small creatures, those indicators. But they will give you the response. Early morning, you are visiting your campus, you have bliss around, your kitchen garden, varieties of butterflies and insects flying over there. Suddenly, chance, rains, storm, winds, they all disappear. They were giving you the response. They are litmus test of environmental change. So their response and their indicators give you the change in the climate you're talking about. Ultimately, they can give you the warning. They are the environmental management, ecological risk assessment. If any species you are walking and you observe very close in the forest area and you are doing the research on this particular species last couple of years, but in recent past you are unable to see it. Whether there's a plant, whether there's an insect, whether there's any animals, whether there's the birds, whether the fungi, it thinks if not appropriate you are observing, it means it's giving you the sensitivity, it's giving you the warning something is wrong. So on the basis of presence and absence of those species, you can link with this climate change and can say as a bioindicators. The definition of bioindicators is slightly not different. Is somebody saying the bioindicators indicate the presence of set of the other species, environmental indicators, and ecological indicators, effects of environmental change in this biotic system, including species, communities, and ecosystem. That this particular species of Artica dioica, stings nest needles of Himalayas, is a host plant of red admiral painted lady butterflies and bioindicators of highs contact with the soil. In monsoon season, you can see at this plant large number of butterflies are flying very close to the way, and caterpillars and larvae hanging on this butterfly, this plant here. So this is the indicators. But people are using it for the purpose, and if they can destroy this plant, the ecosystem health food chain will be affect, the species diversity will affect, and this effect on individual health of the systems. So this is called as a structural characterization of ecological health. This type of examples we are observing, and if you are doing the research on bioindicators, you have to monitor species correlations with this environment, what the use of this species of environment, and the major component of bioassessment evaluations, biomarkers, bioindicators, and ecological risk assessment. Criteria, what is important is here high the criteria of selection of bioindicators. How you will select those indicators. I'm not saying that only insects are bioindicators. Any bird can become the good indicators. Any plant species can become indicators. Any benthic fauna can become the good indicators. But how will select those indicators? Their selections help identify mechanism of toxicity, provides early warnings. You can select those species can link with this environmental change. Importance in the linking cause of stress of ecological relevant effects can be incorporated into the ecological assessment. On the basis of those characters, you can identify on the taxonomically known species, biological life history, habitat, high differentiated occurrence, common and easy find to terrestrial ecosystem, including urban and rural landscapes, and those monitoring studies and your inventories. On the basis of your observation, you can select those indicators. But ultimately, on the basis of insect in general are particularly suited for the monitoring landscape because of abundance, species richness, occurrence, and importance in the functional and natural ecosystem. If you're selecting any species as a bioindicators, you have to keep the things in the mind that abundance of the species is richness, occurrence, and ultimately what is the role of this species for this natural ecosystem. The species you are working in Himalayas, your indicator may be differ. You are working in Central India is different, South India, Andaman Nicobar's, Northeast. But any kind of species can become the indicator. Same species cannot become the indicator for the whole ecosystem. As part of your observations and your research and your monitoring protocol and your long observations, you can select those species as indicators. But this I'm talking about here some of the study I work on tiger beetles, and that is large number of scientists all over the world. They suggested that butterflies, bees, and dipterans are good indicators. Conservation values high. They are having very high conservation values. Murphy and Wilcox suggested that butterflies good indicators because certainly they are the litmus test of environmental change. Sutton and Collins suggested that butterfly and dragonflies are good indicators, and Pearson, Kasula, they say that tiger beetles are good indicators. I already worked some studies on tiger beetles of Shivalik landscape, and I will discuss out here. Our country is having 280 species of documented of this Indian continent about tiger beetles and 2,328 species worldwide, and 108 species are this endemic to India. This is the tiger beetle. Tiger beetle is a very bright, shining metallic beetle. Electra is very bright, and people are collecting it for this decoration purpose, some also artificial jewelry. But the beetle is very important, and the beetle is known as tiger beetle because a carnivore is a voracious predator. This majority of the insect is a phytophagous. They eat the green part, but tiger beetle is a carnivore. It attack other group of insect and has been designated as tiger beetles. Just understand how this tiger beetle is important here. That's the tiger beetle is important for monitoring biodiversity as indicators where in a study in shivalic landscapes. So we have recently published a book on tiger beetles of India with the collaborations with Dr. Pearson and Zorgon and some of the scientists working all over the world. And book is available for the student for the ecology and taxonomy and identifications of the biology of seasonality. Can just refer the books for your student also. So, but how you will select those indicators? Simplest methods we have generated, we have done, and we have given the training program to the frontline staff of the forest department. Series of training programs. Because of the frontline staff, forest guard is visiting the forest area regularly for the patrolling. We have designed this format. Yeah, I've designed this format for this insect. You can design the format for the plant, and you can design this format for the bird species. Just some of the spider here, butterfly, dipterans, longhorn beetles, ants, grasshopper, and dragonflies. Names, area, thus latitude, longitude. Everybody is now having the very fancy advanced mobiles. They can write here and locations. And this format, the forest guard and frontline staff is visiting the forest, they can monitor here. They can write which butterfly they have seen it. They're having this internet, they can identify. Otherwise, at least they can write here the color. On the basis of the color, sometimes it's easy to identify up to the family level. And how many numbers he has observed, he or she has observed. What was the locations, habitat, and what was the activity? So on the basis of this raw data, if they are visiting any particular area and every month they are visiting their areas in patrollings, if they can generate this type of information for 1 year for more than that and deposit this information to the range and therefore headquarters, on the basis of this analysis, at least we can select those indicators. We can select this particular butterfly, the best habitat is particular points. And after 10 years, if anybody is doing the observation, can visit the same point and observe that such and such and monitor this species on point number 5, but currently they are declining. It is not available. On the basis of this observation, this raw data, you can predict the climate change. You can predict the indicators, the dynamics of the forest, health. So this type of small observations, we have given a training program to the frontline staff of the state. Subsequently, we have worked on ants. Ants are the ecosystem engineers, keystone species, nutrient recyclers. High biomass and activity levels make ants especially valuable predators and pests of insect farms, harvest ants, weaver ants, leafcutter ants, and army ants. They are making long tunnels inside of the soil. We have documented the species of ants in the campus. Nothing is required, only pitfall traps. You put some of the pitfall traps in your kitchen garden, your forest area, put some sugar or fish. Early evening hours, early morning you go, you will see a large number of ants over there and try to study it, try to identify, see the behavior. So they are very, very indicators, bioindicators for forest and agroecosystem health. If you are visiting the forest area, you are able to see large number of ants. The health of the forest is rich. We need large number of ants. If there are no ants, the health of the forest is not good. So they are the best bioindicators of agroecosystem health. You can see this video and how this important, this indicators of forest health. In one ants colony, how this long. Excavation of ants colony is a wonder of the birds, but our information about ants and its ecology is very limited. Only few percent of our country are working deeply on the study of ants, but ants are best indicators for our forest health. We need varieties of ants. We have to do study of ants as bioindicators. The small creatures is very, very helpful for our system. You know about the pollinations, you know the cycles and what is the definition of pollinations, but our informations of the pollinators is very limited. The bees and insect pollinators, mostly bees, is necessary for this production of 84% of all crops, and 75% of the crops are that used for human food worldwide. Bees are good for the trees, and trees are good for the bees. If the bees disappears off the surface, the global, then man would all have 4 years of life left. No more bees, no more pollinators, no more plants, no more animals, no more man. But our estimation, our knowledge, and our documentation, our bees and pollinators is very limited. The factors for the pollination is the flowers, color of the flowers, fragrance of the flowers, role of the nectar and pollen,
Sir, your voice is not audible. Sir, you are muted, sir.
is okay?
Now it's okay, sir.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. So there are some of these important families of bees, group of pollinators having bees and butterflies and beetles. And you can see this large number of beetles and bees has been threatening the receiver due to the mobile towers. They are just posting threats to the bees. In Kerala, the electromagnetic radiations from the mobile towers and cell phones having this potential to kill worker bees, because bees is going for 8 to 10 kilometers of distance for the collection of the pollen. This pollination cycles, and you're having different characters and the importance of the bees here. Large number of publications, people are working on this in fronts about this decline of bees. They are worried about it. But how the bees is important here. You can see this important here. So this flowers, this color of the flowers, fragrance of the flowers, and the shape of the flowers is important for pollinators. And what is happening in this decline process of this pollinators and bees? In fruiting states like Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Uttarakhand, the pruning system, they're just displaced of the pesticide on the tree trunk to protect that tree from this insect. But if any insect, and the pollinators will sit and die immediately. When the fruit is ready, again they are going to spray of pesticides and killing the pollinators. Now, what they are doing it? They're using pheromones to retrieve the pollinators. Every tree is hanging in this bottle, and inside the bottle is a pheromones to retrieve those bees. But the step for the pollination conservation in National Pollinator Week, we are celebrating Bee Day, we are celebrating Pollinators Day, the use of native plants. The guidelines have been prescribed by the government and the US, very strict guidelines. They are using it month of June. And third week of June, bees howls and plant butterfly gardens. You know about how the insects change their color combinations for this defense mechanisms, they camouflage, and this is a mimicry also. But they are very sensitive. Their sense organs are very strong, communication, bioluminescence, and social behavior. Insect migrate, diapause, and hibernate as per this ecological parameters, and weather conditions are perfect, they will go for the hibernations. But in medical science, surgery, and scientific research, we are using insect in various ways. And there are best of varieties of cropping system. They are vector-borne diseases. It's harming, but they are very indicator. I discuss about about this how the plant is feeding and that is pest control. Silk also is important. We are not getting silk without silk moth. Honey, you can't get honey and bee wax without honeybees. This is why we have some of the butterflies, 1,500 species in different zone of the country also. I walked some of the areas of butterflies and a group of insects in Gangoti National Park of Uttarakhand. So they are the good indicators within the study of Himachal Pradesh, the mushroom and monal and western Takapan, and having the close association with this Texas Vacata Wallichiana plant. It's a killing of cancers, and this is a indicators of the ecosystem health and this beautiful bird species. I've done some particular species of this common butterflies of high altitude. Nanda Devi bispheres of Uttarakhand's common this yellow swallowtail butterflies and some of the areas of Himachal Pradesh. So this area's plant is a blue poppy, Himalayan blue poppy, queen of Himalayan flowers, Macrosis eculeata, is a good indicators of conservation of pollinators. The fragrance of this flower is very strong. You can see, you can observe it. You can smell the flowers from the 1 and 2 meters away from the plant. But varieties of insect, varieties of pollinators are feeding on it. So this kind of things as indicators of it. So this is one of the very rare butterflies of uh, clouded yellow, and very close to the Hemis National Park in Tumbuk village. The villagers are using only this organic system. They are not using any pesticides, fertilizers, and this is the ecological maintenance of this conservation of those butterflies. Some of the rare butterflies of Himalayas also. And you can see this is one of the very important plant. Dactyla heterozeria and important butterflies of high altitude areas, Apollo butterflies. Butterfly feeding on this plant and the pollination cycle is going to. But the plant is having very high value medicinal plant is an orchid species. The local healers is going on uprooting the plant. Is a potential threat for the life of the butterfly as well as life of the plant. Both are the good indicators of ecosystem health of high altitude area. So that is the butterfly mementos people are using, collecting and large number of articles for this purpose. Also, you can see how butterflies and the group of insects has been treated and dualism. This is a kind of decline and kind of potential threat for the life of those indicators. Usually part of kind of things. Textile industry designing, also collecting, and then making artificial um, jewelry as well as the decoration articles for this insect. International market of insect here. There's a large number of websites and they're selling and purchasing those insects and collecting from the forest area. Basically, it's cause of decline of this way. The character shop is available. You can use your card and you can logins, and this is a different group of insect, Coleoptera, Lepidoptera, Arthroptera, and other group species available over here. But the potential threat also is grazing Himalayas. In nomads of Ladakh, they're having sheep and goat, Pashmina goat here. So they clear the green ground cover. They flowers and grasses where the large number of pollinators and insect is surviving, they clean and destroy it. It is one of the cause of declines in percent threat of the pollinators. We have developed and designed some of the posters for awareness for the school kids as well for the Department of Different Regions. We have in cultural values also. The kind of cultural values of how can common men understand the values of insect as indicators. They are having the butterflies and moth stems. If any species is important and indicator of any reasons, the European they develop as a stamp over here to indicate, to communicate to society the importance of this particular species, importance of the species for ecosystem health. We are having the group of beetles also, large number of world of biodiversity or largest group. But one important group we are having is light producing insect. We are having three group of insect. They produce light. Fireflies, phenogriddy, and click beetles. And they are declining very fast. Fireflies, the observation of decline of fireflies is now limited. Only few persons working it. But majority of the people are observing that fireflies are declining. This is the group of insect as a click beetles literally. In pronotum, they produce two bulbs and they produce so much of light. You can read the newspaper very easily. But the cause of decline of this bioluminescence insect is the fireflies disappearing very fast. The luciferin is used for all kind of medical research. Luciferin is used for the markers detector blood clots. They are using for this luciferin for like cancer and diabetics. Use of luciferin for this research purpose may be our native species at risk for the population decline. So still few research project is going on this subject, why they're declining it, and how this beetles is important. Interesting. It's good indicators of biodiversity monitoring of the regions called as click beetles. This pronotum fit in the socket and make click click sound. They jump up to 2 and 3 feet high. So this is the jump it is and make click click sound. That is called the beetles are called click beetles. And some of the species they produce a light on the pronotums. You can see it and make click sounds. People collect it, say in the market, the hoteliers, they put in the lanterns and they enjoy the dinner of click beetle light dinners. So they are this assessment of ecological diversity of distribution patterns of beetles and collector in biodiversity. Some of the insect groups are important. Certainly, they are the best of varieties of cropping system and our forest area. But the pressures in the forest is due to tourist grazing, how collection in Himalayas is they are destroying the diversity of beautiful indicators. But the mechanisms of study of insect is simplest. Only few not very high technical equipment is required. Net pitfall trap, light traps is required if you are interested to do the study of insect. We are recommending the farmers don't use pesticides and to kill those insects in a cropping system in your gardens. Use simple mechanism, cost-effective light traps. And through these light traps, the insect will put this container full of waters and destroy it. So safest and mechanisms of controlling of insect if insect is a pest in the forest area. So large number of books and identification of taxonomic studies are available here. Large number of museums you can consult for identification purpose and consult those experts and indicates how this ecosystem, how those insect is important for monitoring our ecosystem health and biodiversity monitoring. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot.
Thanks.
So we have some set of questions. So I will just read out the questions.
Fine, fine. Yes, please.
So there is a good appreciation from the participants. So
Yeah.
Dr. Prakash Notial says it is very exciting issues which you have discussed. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for the talk, he says.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So there is a question from Manasvi Kiran. So
Yeah.
excellent topic and very interesting session she mentioned. And
Yeah.
she also asked a question, sir, can you highlight the role of insects in maintaining soil condition?
Yeah, definitely. I already discussed about the dung beetles. If you have, there's no dung beetles in your kitchen garden, no dung beetles in the forested area, the soil structure is not good. If there's no dung, ants moving in your kitchen garden is not safe. They're very important role. Might have seen this video how they are making long tunnels inside of the soil and making your soil very fertile. Insects are playing very important role for this purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. There is another question she posed. Sir, how to control locust problem as it damages large extent of crop?
Yeah, definitely. It was a very serious problem last year. They started from Gujarat and out east up to the Delhi and some part of UP also. But they definitely, we are not saying the government has done this spray of this pesticides, aerial spray, but it's not a solution. It's a natural phenomena. Certainly, if they are attacking very close to our agricultural fields, you can control somehow, but fully you can't control it. They're doing this. They are using the drum, and the smoke is a small and very not a sort of remedy for it, but it's all in this long-term solution is not for the control of the locusta. Is a their right have the survival, and their migration is very prominent, and they come after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, one continent to the continent. But we can control on the basis of some biological control methods we can use, but I will not recommend for the use of pesticide and fertilizers, because certainly it will harm our health of human beings.
Okay. There is a question from Sakshi Notial. How large can a single ant colony be?
Oh, so the lies you can see it is a longer than this wall of China. This video was there's actually they have not seen the video. There's a sound was the problem with the sound. They make long tunnels inside of the soil. It took a lot of times to excavate whole tunnel system and the soil structures, because they poured the cement in this tunnel and then they excavated at the height of that one colony was larger than the small Great Wall of China. Is a wonder of the words. They designated it.
Okay. So, dear participants, please pose your questions. I will try to get it.
Yeah, they can mail me. I
Yeah.
think so. Already having this
Yeah.
details, my email ID. I definitely I
Yeah.
will try to help.
Okay.
And
There is one more question, sir. Every ant species have a sorry. Every ant species have the similar kind of colony, or the video shown is a particular
No,
to one ant?
different as per the size of the ants colonies, but the actually mechanism is same. But some ants is not making the tunnels. Some they are feeding on the plant and their root part and some of the bark of the tree. But majority of the ants is making this tunnels inside of the soil. But not all species.
Okay. So there is a question from Prakash Notial. Proportion of sensitive to tolerant, can it be used as an indicator?
Certainly, sir, if there's any species is having this ecosystem, which just it requires only observations. For 1 and 2 days, you can't say is indicators. We are doing, but we have last couple of years monitoring the species and what is the role of this species for ecosystem. Then we suggest this species as a indicators. I'm not saying that only insect is an indicator. Any plant can become the good indicators. Any birds can become the good indicators. So that is on the basis of your long observation, then you can select the species as a good indicator for biodiversity monitoring and ecosystem health.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fine.
Okay, sir. Looks like there are no more questions. Sir, thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
very much.
accepting our invitation. So your talk has highlighted the role of insects in ecosystem and maintaining the biodiversity, and also you have highlighted how the insect can be considered as a best bioindicators, and also their role in pollination and other ecosystem services. So thanks a lot for sharing your
Thank you.
vast experience with our
Thank you very much.
participants.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
So, dear participants, please subscribe to the EWRG channel. So, under Ek Bharat Shresh Bharat, we conduct regular every month webinars on the various topics. So, if you subscribe the channel, then you will get notified. So, with this, I am ending the session. Thank you, one and all. See you soon.